Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? Justin Hombach here, back from my practice cave, and 2 weeks ago I had a situation where after that I realized, god damn it, I have to practice. And I also realized that some of my practice habits won't necessarily work for certain situations, so I came up with new practice habits which really helped me a lot to gain more control and more precision in my playing. And what those practice habits are, we will find out in today's video. So here we go. Alright, so what happened? Well, when you are following my channel, you maybe know that 2 weeks ago I released a big 1 hour long video about picking. And at the same time, a Russian guitar player called Anton Oparin also released a 2 hour long video about picking. And his video is really phenomenal. I do not agree to all of it, but 80% of this is the shit, and I highly recommend to check out this video. And it made me realize one thing. My synchronization can be really off. I have recorded some licks which I wanted to share on this channel already a few weeks ago, and I was going through those licks, through those picking licks, and yeah, I was going through them with half the tempo or only 25% of the tempo, and I realized, god damn it, there are so many mistakes in there and it's so not in sync, my left and my right hand, there's something really off. And I said to myself, man, that can't be. I'm sitting here teaching about speed picking, but I'm not really happy with my speed picking itself, and I want to show people how to speed pick, so I have to practice. But quickly I realized, as I've said, that some of my practice habits I had before are not really working for synchronization or for precision. So I came up with some new habits which helped me to focus more on those micro timings and to realize, okay, when is something off or when is something on with the synchronization. And I of course want to share those two habits here on my channel with you guys. It's actually pretty easy, and you only need two things. One, a guitar, I've got it right here, and two, a DAW and an interface or a way how you can record yourself into a computer, into a digital audio workstation. DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation, I think. So yeah, as I've mentioned, I have some licks recorded which I already wanted to share here on this channel. But again, analyzing the licks into micro details, I realized something which I wasn't happy about. Maybe a lot of people wouldn't have heard it, but I want to get the best out of my picking and the most precision picking that I can have. So yeah, I sat down again and worked on it. And the first thing you need to know before you can work with those habits is, what do I need to work on, and what is even the problem that I have in my playing. And therefore I'm going to show you a little part of the lick which will come next week. It's a big 8-bar long picking lick, a goat picking lick as I like to call it, because it really covers some interesting aspects that you need for speed picking. But I want to show you a little part, a little section out of it slowly, and I want to show you there what my problem was and where I realized, okay, I need to work on these specific movements, because those specific movements hinders me from being sync together with my left and my right hand. If you want to know more about desynchronization and maybe what causes the problem or how you can handle the problem, I've made a video already about it. You can click here to see the video, but I recommend to also check out this video here, because this is kind of addition to that video. Alright, so let's check out the small section of that lick. Okay, so the first 2 bar of this goat speed picking lick goes like this. And the same thing 1 octave higher. Okay, now, which situation here costs me my hand synchronization? I was checking out some licks from the video from Anton Oparin, and I realized, well, the problem can't be my right hand, because my right hand technique is nearly the same like his. If you want to know more about this, I can highly recommend my video and the one from Anton Oparin. Take your time and go through those videos, it's really worth it. Alright, so the problem must be my left hand. Okay, and then I was going through certain situation. First I will start off with an ascending idea. This one here. And by playing this one fast and analyzing it. No, those kind of ascending ideas aren't really the problem. So the problem must be on the different side of this lick. And besides those ascending kind of ideas, I also have descending ideas. And here I start always having some problems with my synchronization when I'm going to descending lines with my left hand. And this is something where I always had problems on with descending licks with my left hand, pull-off licks. I never was a really good pull-off player. It always was my kind of nemesis in my playing. So I quickly realized it has to be this kind of movement and this kind of aspect in my playing which hinders my synchronization. And the second situation where in this kind of bigger lick I always find myself lacking in synchronization is by position shift, which makes a little bit more sense. I once did a video where I ranked some sort of picking licks. It was a little bit of a fun video here, and there I said that I try to not really play licks where I have to do position shift with the same finger that ends with the lick before that, before this position before that. For example, this kind of idea here. Because when we have one finger where we need to do the position, we have to cut off the length from that note here to have enough length to do the position shift, because this little movement here costs time. And it's really important to know that this little movement here will cost time, so we can cut off enough length from that note here to have enough time to go from here to here. So those are the two movements which really hinders my synchronization: descending movements and position shifts. And in that lick I have both of them straight following up. So I start with here, then I do the position shift, and then I have the descending line. And this always made my hand desynchronized. Okay, but now how did I work on? And I worked on that in the last 2 weeks, and I have seen some incredible results into my playing already. I'm not there where I want to be, but that does not mean that I cannot share with you those kind of habits and those kind of practice ideas. Okay, so this is the first thing that we need to know. Where are our problem zones? Where are the danger zone where our hands get desynchronized? And you can analyze and you can find that out by playing a certain lick, like for example learning this picking lick when it will be released next week, and by practicing it in your normal speed where you normally feel comfortable with, and where we would say, okay, I'm fast and I'm controlled with this speed, and then slow down the tempo, slow down the timing to 0.5 or 0.25, and then really listen to it. Is everything nice and clean? And often there we will find out, no, it's not. Okay, this was the lick and my problem zones, my danger zones, and now I'm going to show you how I practice this lick. Please always keep in mind also, for those kind of habits, you need patience. Patience is the most important thing while practicing. It sometimes can cost 1 or 2 months to get better or get on the next level. Maybe sometimes even a year. But it's really worth the practicing and being patient, because then we can really destroy those kind of trouble areas where we feel uncomfortable and not good with our playing. So what I'm now going to do is something which I call regressive practicing for progressive results. That means I will take this certain situation, for example the descending lines, which I have problems with keeping this one synchronized in a certain tempo. and I will try to figure out first the tempo where I know, okay, on this tempo I can belong to my technique. I know everything that I play is not depending on luck, it's depending on control over what I'm doing. And how do we find out this tempo? With a method that I call the 8 out of 10. I'm trying to record this 6-note idea here, descending line, 16-note triplets. I'm going to record this now 10 times with a little break in between, and when I have 8 out of 10s correctly, I would say, I came up with that method, but then I would say all you do is based on technique and you have control over what you are doing, and it's not based on luck. And yeah, I will start with my main goal tempo with 140 BPM because this lick is in 140 BPM. So, and here is my DAW. I'm using Reaper, and here I'm on 140 BPM. I have my time signature on 8/8. It's a little bit easier for my click here to hear those 8 notes, to realize, okay, when are the block of 60 notes correctly, when are the first 3 happening, when it's going to play the next 3, and so on. So I'm going to start now recording on 140 BPM. Sorry, this idea here, and I'm going to check if I'm able to play it 8 out of 10 correctly. And how we are going to analyze it, you will find out right now. Let me first record it really quickly 10 times. Here we go. All right, I would say this was 10 times. Let me check quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, 10 times. So I'm now going to the first one here, and then I will go down here on Reaper and set my playback rate from 1 to 0.5. But it's not only changing the tempo here in Reaper, it's also changing the pitch, but I wouldn't say that this is bad. We still can analyze it pretty well, and it's even just 1 octave below. So now I'm going to listen to it. Okay, the first one was really bad. Okay, the second one. Oh, it was quite decent. A little bit early. Oh, the last note wasn't there. That was decent, so 2. Yeah, kind of. Oh, that was good. Yeah. And here I realized, okay, no, it's not 8 of 10, and some of it's played a little bit too early. This is a problem that I really have. I really have to check out how I can work on it, because every time when I'm practicing those kind of groups, I'm not always starting on the one. I'm starting with like a 40-second note before the one, and this makes me really angry. But this is another topic to figure out how I can improve on that. And now I am going back to 1 here, and now I'm decreasing the tempo up to the point where I know I can play 8 out of 10, for example 120 BPM. Alright, so I'm going to delete that now, and I'm going to record again 10 times on 120 BPM now. Alright, so I think this was 10 times again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, or even 12 times. So let me check it out again here. 1.5. Good. Okay, so the first one and the last one was not really great and was not really okay, but 8 in between that, the other 8 ones, they are pretty good. So I would say here, yes, I can play 8 out of 10. All right. Okay, now this is a tempo now where I know I can work on. And now we can do two things. We can now increase the tempo a little bit more, and I now can practice on 125 BPM to get 8 out of 10. When I have that one done, I can go to 130 BPM, 135, up to my main goal tempo of 140. Now here I'm trying to increase the tempo in really small steps. Trying to focus on never losing the control over my synchronization, over my right and my left hand. I will try to get the feeling which I have when I'm in control on 120 BPM, also on the higher tempo. The technique has to be the same. So this is a real method to using the same technique for your synchronization and for your precision in your playing, and increasing it to higher tempos by really slowly increasing it. Here we have to keep one thing in mind. We need to be patient a little bit more about this one. I still defend the method of playing something fast, even when it sounds a little bit sloppy in the beginning. I still believe in the philosophy that our body and our brain has to learn how to play something fast by playing it fast. You can't run when you only just walk, and never run. Even when you fell down and fell on your knees and you have to stand up and run again 2-3 times, you need to run to get this motion, this movement into the connectivity between your brains and your muscle in that movement correctly, and to get an awareness of that movement. And therefore I would say it's important to run even when you fall down on your knees after 2 or 3 steps. And the same with guitar playing. And here now we are working on our running technique. We are now on the level from Usain Bolt and trying to get faster and faster and faster, and really working on those little movements which are really important to get us from one tempo to the next tempo. And there we have to do slightly improvement in our tempo, slightly increasement in our tempo. Yes. So this is one method here now. And the second method is to not increase the tempo, but increase the distance and maybe slow down the tempo. For example, I want to play this kind of line and this kind of idea 2 times in a row, but I can't do it on 120 with the 8 out of 10 method. Then I go back to 115, for example. Okay, on 115 I can do it 2 times in a row, but maybe not 3 times. So I go down on 110, and then I work up to 4 times, and then I go up the tempo again. So going down with the tempo, but increasing the distance, trying to work on our stamina so that we can keep the technique, so that we can keep the synchronization between left and right by increasing the tempo. And as soon as we fall off, we need to go back from the tempo again, decreasing the tempo a little bit more again, to get to the point where we can play the amount of distance that we want to play with a good synchronization. When we can fix that, then we can increase the tempo again. A quick side note from one thing of the Anton Oparin video after you have watched it is there are certain effects that can influence our playing. And some of the clips that he chooses here are from Jason Richardson, for example, or from Guthrie Govan, or even from Martin Miller, is where they have to play maybe in a situation where it's uncomfortably for them. For example, live, or in the Young Guitar Studio, where, 15 people are sitting there and saying, or Guitar World, some sort of guitar magazine studio where 15 people are sitting there and saying, hey, play that lick once and then cut. And maybe you have one time to play that lick. You are nervous, you maybe don't feel right. And this is no excuse for a bad technique, but I like the philosophy of saying, okay, if we have more control over this kind of technique, the less those negative situations will influence our playing. And yeah, I believe in that really, really strongly. I have a certain picking technique for myself where I can say, okay, even if I'm nervous, even if I'm going to play in, I don't know, a live stream, which is a really terrible situation, I would say, when you can hear the DI output of the guitar and there's no crowd in front of you and all that kind of stuff. I would say it's really hard to play in a live stream, but still, I would assume that I have a picking technique where I can play some sort of speed ticking even if I'm terribly nervous, or if I'm in front of, I don't know, John Petrucci. If I have to play something in front of John Petrucci, try to set yourself in this kind of situation and don't say that you would be nervous as well. But the better your technique is, the better I would say you can handle this situation, but still you are not on the 100 or 120% as you are in your practice room. So this is something where I want to encourage you to really analyze your playing in this little and small pieces. Go really deeply into your playing and really analyze the shit out of it. Here now, my practice room, I can give 120 ppm because I'm feeling comfortable. I'm here in my comfortable situation, in my normal situation. Everything is fine. Everything is cool. I don't have to worry about anything. So here, what I can play here, I can play better on the stage, and I can play better in a different situation, because every time I'm in a different situation, there is maybe something which will affect my playing on negatively. So the better I'm here in my practice routine, the better I would say I will be on the live situation or in the studio situation or stuff like that. I will not be on the full 100% like here in the practice room, but I think I will be 80% when we are practicing with a little bit more of awareness, when we're recording ourselves while practicing, when we're always watching what we are doing, and when we want to improve. This is another thing that I want to say here in the end, because there was a little comment under my video referring to the Anton Oparin video. There are people who can play a lot better than I do. There are a lot of people who can do speed picking, but that does not mean that I'm not allowed to teach you my way of speed picking. And my way don't have to be the correct way. It is my way. And I want to encourage you, my community, and everybody who's watching my videos, to not only rely on my video. Go out there and check out different videos, check out different guitar players, and please don't be a fanboy and commenting something under another guitar player's video where he's saying, but Justin has done it this way, or Justin would do it this way, and you can't play it like Justin, so you are not allowed to do it. Please don't do that. This is not cool. This was devastating for me for at least 1 week. I had so many positive comments under my last video, and one negative, which was still polite. No, I don't want to offend the people who, the guy who wrote that comment. But it was still really negatively for me. And I was doubting myself. Am I allowed to teach speed picking here on this channel? Yes, I am. It is my way of speed picking, and the only thing that I'm going to show you here on this channel and in the Zen of speed picking is my experience, my knowledge, and my way how you can get to my level. That does not mean that I can grow. That does not mean that I am perfect. This means that I have to grow, that there's a lot of stuff where I still need to work on. And I want to share this with you. And this is the cool thing about the internet. Now, those two methods, by finding your right tempo with the 8 out of 10 method, the regressive practicing for progressive results, and the increasing the distance kind of method, also works for all kind of licks and all kind of problems. It's not necessarily for this descending lick, it's also something that I can use for the position shift idea, and for, you can use this as well for other techniques as well. For example, sweeping or tapping or whatnot. How could you imply those kind of ideas into your practice routine? Well, you can do the 8 out of 10 method with the small lengths, the small package, only the 6 note in this case, for example, on, let's say, Monday. Okay, you're working there on your hand synchronization. Then on Tuesday you can work on your speed as well. So you are playing it on 140, 150 ppm, but really increasing and decreasing the fingerings, the movement itself. It's something. When you watch the longer video, I explain this kind of practice method there a little bit more as well. And on Wednesday, you can do the distance. On Tuesday, you can do it with every kind of lick you want to do it, by the way. Again, the 8 out of 10 method. And on Friday, you can do playing it in the 10 BPM steps kind of thing. What I mean by that is, for example, the end tempo is 140 BPM, so I start the longer lick on 100 BPM with including those problem zones, those danger zones that I have, and then I'm going after 5 minutes, I'm going to 110 BPM, 120, 130, up to 140 BPM after every 5 minutes. So you can create some sort of all kind of variety in your practice routine, and I always recommend to have some variations into your practice routine, especially when you don't have that much time on your hand to work on your guitar playing. Not everybody from us can practice 4 to 8 hours guitar every day, but if you want to increase, or if you want to develop a good picking technique, I would recommend to have some variations in your practice routine. And if you want to have more ideas or more habits how you can practice, then check out the longer video about picking technique that I've released 2 weeks ago.